This is still pretty boring, and our state never changes. So let's make it so that our state changes. Let's throw a button on the page too. How's that sound? Uh-oh. Got problems. Adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. So we have to return a single element. That element can have children, but we can't return two JSX elements side by side. We could return one that has two inside it. So I could do this. Oops. My ankle bracket going the other way. I could do something like this. Now I'm just returning that div. Now that div has other stuff inside it. But I can't return adjacent JSX elements because if I wrote this not as JSX, that would probably be clear. I couldn't return react.create element, react.create element. That's two different values, right? And that's what I'm effectively doing if I just put two pieces of JSX side by side there. It's easier to write this on multiple lines now, so if you're going to put your JSX on multiple lines, you need parentheses around it. And inside there, I need a single element that's going to contain whatever else I want. So I'll put my H1 in there. And then we'll put a button. And we'll say update heading. There we go. We have a button now. But a button needs to do something. So we need a function for it to run. So we'll make this another method of our component. Although the order of methods doesn't actually impact the way it works, always put render last and your constructor first, because everybody does. So I'll make one called handle click or update heading. Let's call it update name. Update name, sure. And update name, we want it to change the heading. But we don't need to tell it to change the heading. We just need to update state and the heading will change automatically. We're never again going to write document.querySelector or any other DOM thing if we can possibly help it. And you can almost always help it. You'll have it one time in your React DOM render and then never again. So we will just manage our state and React will handle redrawing the UI when state changes. We don't need to change text content or anything like that. So update name is simply going to call this.setState. That's how we have to change state, otherwise it will not know to redraw the page. And you pass setState an object with only the properties from state that you want to change. So we'll change name to Emily. And then we need to call update name when we click the button. And for this, we actually use props, very much like attributes. It's like this. So on click, now it's camel cased. In the DOM, it's not. Here it is. So JavaScript is very consistent about this sort of thing. JSX is. And it is case sensitive. So on click with a capital C equals. And then if the value were just a string, were pure string data, you could put double quotes here. But it's not. It's a JavaScript expression. So we need to set it to this function, which is what now? From inside the render function, how would I get to update name, which is a method of the same object? Yeah, this.update name. And as I think you realize now, we don't call update name at that time. That changes it immediately. We set it to the function itself. So it's a prop with a value that is something other than a string. Hence the curly braces. And with any luck, clicking the button will do something. Too bad we have no luck, because it's not doing that thing. Any guesses why not? I think it's calling it. Yep, it's calling it. But it's not working. Why not?
Did we not save it to the DOM?
It's because of this. Good old this. So when we call this.update name and call this.setState, this is not what we think it is anymore because of the whole event handler thing. Now, interestingly, it's not the event target either. In React, if you invoke a method as an event handler, this is set to the global object window. I don't know why. Something they did internally makes it that way. So we have to use one of our tricks. We either have to say bind this, or I think it's a little less ugly to just put an arrow function in here and then call it ourselves. So our onClick handler now is this arrow function whose body is just calling update name. That way this will be what we think it is because of the arrow function. So let's click that again, and the name changes. So again, we don't grab the H1 off the page and change its text content. We just change our state, and the page changes automatically. Questions about that much?